To be a man in hegemonic masculinity, you have to be very strong. You are strong, you don't express emotion, you are a super being. You see, it is there why men don't cry. The convener was talking just now, she was talking about bottling up your emotions. When you bottle up your emotions, something dies in you. Because every man that you see carries a prison around, and that prison is your mind. That is the incubator where your thoughts are formed. And when those thoughts are not expressed, you become dead inside. And that's why men die often, quicker than women. Press one. Let's say one of Nigeria's famous writers is called Chinua Achebe. Chinua Achebe did a book, fantastic book. It is titled, no, there's Arrow of God, No Longer at Ease, and Things Fall Apart. This one is Things Fall Apart. There's a character in there who is called Okonko, Obi Okonko. He was a well-built man. He was successful as a farmer, and there was a leader in his village. But he had this weakness. Fear of failure was the weakness that he had, and that's what killed him. If you know the story, Obi Okonko killed the boy who was living with him. He killed him because he doesn't want to be seen as being weak. And all of us, most of the decisions that we take in our life, in our marriages, in our businesses, is out of fear of being considered weak. Press on. Now, hegemonic masculinity hinges on the subordination of femininity and marginalized masculinity. When there's a certain important man in this town, if I mention his name, you will know, but I don't want to do so, whose wife said something to him, and he was very angry. And then the next thing that he did was he slapped the woman. And they got to FMC here, and the woman died. He didn't, of course, tell the children that that's exactly what happened. I slapped her, and she went backward and died. Because nobody will say that. But in the secret of his heart, he confessed to certain friends that I was the one that slapped her. And then she died. Now, the power that we have is gained through control of others, perpetrated through objectification and dehumanization of the subject. Go to bed. And then there was a snake that came into the room, and the man climbed on the bed. I was asking his wife, go and kill the snake, go and kill the snake. So, you know, I was saying, look. So, the second day they came to tell me the story. They didn't know where the snake was, but they couldn't sleep in that house that day. Now, this is the thing. The woman was saying to him, go and kill the snake. Do you know why? Why? Is the man. And it is the duty of man to kill slaves. Now, who wants to be beaten by snakes? Trying to go down saying his wife should go and kill the snake. He's right. Now, you see, he's supposed to be the provider. When the AIG was talking, he spoke a lot about it. When you are married to somebody, you're supposed to be a partner. The patriarchal society we're living in, that we need to redefine now, is the one that caused that mindset. The wife of Shema Mao, when the husband was the leader of China, did a paper dissecting men and masculinity and said the only contribution of man to society is just a drop of sperm. A lot of people took her up, and I think she was right. Because a man that has no emotion cannot be a good father. Now, a lot of feminists have come up now, they design a lot of inventions and what have you, that a woman can enjoy herself alone without a man. And now in America, of course, they are working on certain machines that replace a man. It's not going to be the dildo that you see now. It will be a real man, but it's a machine. And then we make love to a woman. And then the woman can actually have babies. Is it funny? So it's good to come because part of the problem is that when we are frustrated and we are distressed, we leave the job of fatherhood. It is true. They actually say, we're the ones that go to war before, but now women are going to war. We're the ones that fly the plane, now they are flying the plane. What is it now that they can do? Is there anything that they cannot do without you? Absolutely nothing. Sorry to say this, many of us who are pastors, we don't even touch our wives. And it is pastors' wives that suffer the most, and they all have kiddos and all of those things. Now the men they can buy that are machines, and then men be useless because you can't reproduce. You need a womb, you don't have womb. Now, a man is supposed to be logical. He's supposed to have strength. He's supposed to be active. It's also kind of like of stereotypes that society, the patriarchal society we are living in, has, depicted to us, put on us. And the time has come for us to begin to rethink those settings. Please press. Press again. Now, what are the most important things why God created man and woman in the Bible? And it says other religious books. It's principally for reproduction. So sex is a very, very important thing in life. But what is the reason? Let us think about what is the reason that we have homosexuality, lesbianism and what. So what has happened basically is that now, in the modern world, you have people who are, they dress somehow. Just hold on, I'm going to finish now. I'll see you coming up. Now, now you see people, men are dressing like women. Women are dressing like men. So there are some jobs that are for male, there are some jobs that are for female. And then, of course, there are certain things that you, as a woman, because of society, cannot have. There's a story in the Bible about the Zelophehad daughters. There were 5 of them. And they went to meet Moses. They said, look, our father died in his own sin. He wasn't part of the Korah group and what have you. But he has inherited, and they said, not going to give it to us. And Moses went to God, and God told him, go and give them what belongs to them. So, that's a foundation for the fact that the theme of this conference is very key. We have to start rethinking masculinity and our patriarchal society setting. Press, please. Now, what you have here, there's a girl above, and then there are 2 girls on your right. They dress like men. All right? And then below, you see men. They are dressing like women. Okay. Now, please press. Press. Do you know who's in that photograph? Who? Huh? Huh? This is Ogunleye. Okay. Is the person there a man or a woman? Huh? Both. She was he. And she was he. Yeah, so the question I want to ask here is that is it right, godly, acceptable, societally for you to choose your own sex? I didn't hear you. No. It is not right. No, you can't choose your own sex. Yes. No, why do you have freedom? No, why do you have freedom? That comes before the freedom. That comes before the freedom. Yes, sir. So if you do not like the way that you look, or you had an accident, why do you go to surgery? You had to repair. Why can't you repair your body? If you are a man, you want to be a woman. Why can't you be a woman? Hello? Are we seeing the house? Yes. Do we have the freedom to do that? Yes. No. Yes. Good. Well, we can't say it again anyway. So what has happened here basically is that if you are going to rethink masculinity, because masculinity is a theory and a system imposed on us by the patriarchal fathers who had gone. Am I communicating? Modern science has done it. If a woman is unable to have a child, she can do IVF. If God does not want you to do it, He won't give somebody that knowledge. Alexander Pope said when God wanted electricity, He created Isaac Newton. If God still talks to people, He gives you an idea what to do for the problem that you have. The world you live in is full of problems. To solve the problem is to live. That's why you got brain. God talks to you in your mind to ask you to do this. So it's going to be a discussion for another day, whether you can change your sex or not. If you don't like to be a man, you want to be a woman, do you have that right to do so? Why was Bobrisky arrested? Because of what? Because of what? He sprayed Naira. He or she was. Adenuga's daughter did wedding a couple of days ago. They sprayed. I didn't hear anybody was arrested. Why? Because the patriarchal society you are living in felt offended by what he or she was doing. Am I communicating? Yes. So it's something for us to ponder. If you really want to redefine masculinity, you have to begin to think about things that our patriarchal fathers have done that are no longer acceptable, that must be changed. Am I being controversial?
Not really.
Not you sure?
Not really.
Not really. So I'm going to end. There's a man they call Sigmund Freud. The light is back now. Yes. Sigmund Freud, one of the earliest philosophers, in the world. So he wrote a paper about a young man they call. Okay. A man they call Oedipus. This is part of Greek mythology. When a child is born, your very first friend and love is who? Hello? When a child is born, his or her very first love is who? Huh? The mother. So this boy grew up and was affectionate with the mother and killed the father and slept with his mother. You know, Oedipal complex. So it is very true. If you are a good father, the very first love for your child, I think that somebody spoke about it now, is your daughter. It's an opposite sex attraction thing. So when this guy killed the father and then slept with his mother, something happened. So a boy is attracted to his mother and sees his father as a rival. Now there's a joke that goes on. The breast is for the father or for the child? Huh? Or both? No, it's for the father or the baby. It's for both. Okay, this is what has happened. When you suck a woman's breast, you become attached to that woman. It's the reason why in our tradition, AIJ was talking about it, your mother will press her breast and say, except of course you will not suck this breast. But that same attraction can make you to sleep with her. If you do not restrain yourself. Except of course she's old. Now, so the other side is electoral complex. It's the attraction of the girl to her father and sees her mother as a rival. So freak notion is that there's a nexus between desires and taboos. If you are able to do what you desire, there will be no taboo. That's why they say don't sleep with your mother. It's a taboo. Even in our own culture in Yoruba land. Or can you sleep with your mother? So it's just a taboo, but it's what you desire. Hello? While you are a baby, she will dress in your front. Yes or no? Yes. Now, why do men, the propaganda machine, that's men, why do they die first? Because it's not because they are older. Stress, pressure. Those are the things that make men to die first. And who will not begin to enjoy those things you stretch yourself for? God will help us. Yes, I'm actually done. I was going to show something to us here now, but of course it's gone. So the point at issue basically is that in the life that we live, and for us to redefine masculinity, men must understand what is called the balancing act. Enjoy yourself. Be at peace with yourself. What cannot be done cannot be done. Nobody's going to kill you because something cannot be done. Because if you die, your wife will likely remarry, your children will go, they're not going to die with you. You understand? So the society is changing, the world is changing, and we as Africans, we have to change with it. So there's something I want to show to us anyway, but it's there, all the same. I just want to explain it. So we can take it off from there. Maybe sometimes there's an opportunity to talk about this further. But what I want to leave you with is that you think about it. If you have accident, you can go and do surgery and repair it. Why is it that you cannot change your sex? I thank you. God bless you.
A round of applause for Dr. Mopelola Arowosafe. I think we are going on with so many things from the village boy now. He gave us 2-3 assignments. The last one, why can't you change yourself? Why? So maybe when we meet again, we'll continue from there. A round of applause for him again, Dr. Mopelola Arowosafe. Thank you very much. Quickly, our time is passing. I want to call on somebody from the health sector to add his own voice. Yeah, we are swapping. Yes, we are swapping. So I'll give you a little time to get set for that. The next person will be from Canada. So let's have Doctor right here. I have Dr. Oluwafemi Ayene, a consultant family physician from OOUT, that's Labisi Onobanto University Teaching Hospital, Shagam, in Ogun State here. Can we give a round of applause as you welcome into the podium, Dr. Arowosafe? Are you using your slide? Okay, I will get that for you. We are getting set for the slide. And in my recap again, let me tell you that Dr. Arowosafe said, somebody said that the only useful thing men are known for is just to drop sperm. My own importance goes beyond dropping sperm. I want to be a responsible father, and I want to be a responsible husband, not dropping sperm all around. May God help you. Are we set? Thank you. Dr. Arowosafe.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Let me start by acknowledging the high table, the chairman of the occasion, other members of the high table. I want to say good afternoon, sirs, to you all. Well, like you mentioned, my name is Dr. Oluwafemi Ayene, the consultant family physician from OUTH in Shagam. Well, without taking much of our time, I was made to understand I have 30 minutes. Yes. Right. So quickly, we want to look at men's health. Men's health. I came a bit late. I had to sort out some issues in town. But when I came, the last speaker, Dr. Arowosafe, I hope I'm right, sir. Yes, made some points which, well, maybe because of my discussion, we'll be able to further, enlighten ourselves. One of the things he mentioned was that why do men die earlier than their wives? You know, when you get to most homes, it's landlady that you see most of the time. Is either you see the landlady and the man who will be the landlord, or you could say landlady alone. Why? Masculinity, well, it has been defined here and there, many theories to back it up. But to all seated here this afternoon, well, my emphasis will be on the use of that masculine strength to sustain the home. So let's see it in that light. You don't use your strength to struggle with the woman. The woman you once said that you loved and you married. So you don't use your strength against that woman. I know there are so many historical background to issues at home today that we have conflicts here and there, even in the church. Homes are, divorce all over the place and even in the church. But this afternoon, anything you're taking away is for you to use it to ensure that your home stands. Amen. So quickly the objective. Quickly I will say, able to put some things down. We will define men's health. Then again, to understand the evolutions of men's health. Then highlights of a few of medical conditions that are found in men. Okay, can we go? Now, okay, I will start from the life expectancy. like I said, life expectancy in men lags far behind that of women, regardless of the geographical distribution now. We may look at it that it's worse off in sub-Saharan Africa, but even among the Caucasians, statistics shows that their men tend to die earlier than their women. Can we go to associated factors? Well, biological, it could be behavioral and social. And I will try to make some comments on each of these. Now, men's health is relatively a new discipline. Like in those days, we talk about the health of an individual, generally speaking. But now, each of the individuals is being put into focus. We talk about men's health, we talk about women's health, we talk about the health of the adolescent, the health of the child. We take them one after the other. But of course, today, we are looking at the men's health. Can we go on quickly? Now, can we look at this graphical distribution there? We can see the life expectancy at birth. We can see that of the male, we can see that of the female. And when we look at the progression, initially, the first part is, that's 1990, what statistics actually show, 1990 to 2021. Then when we now project 2050. And all along, when you see the word generally, the blue column there stands for the word generally, we can say that now life expectancy at birth, initially, globally speaking now, 61.5, but in sub-Saharan Africa, 47.3. In those days, if somebody dies below the age of 70, one will go for it. They will just do things and then let the person go. But now you see people dying at the age of 60 and they are celebrating, they are throwing parties. People are dying now in their 50s, they are celebrating and throwing parties. Now go on, what we have as of 2021, globally speaking, you can see that there was an improvement from 61.5 to 68.4, whereas there was a marginal increase from 51.2 to 57.8 in sub-Saharan Africa. You go on, now after 2021, we are projecting to 2050. We hope that all other things being equal, due to development technologically, then awareness that we are creating on a daily basis, we expect that, average life expectancy of an individual in the sub-Saharan Africa should have increased to like 69%. That's all other things being equal. But even at that 69%, among the Caucasians, theirs will have increased to 79.8. So we are still trailing behind them. Let's look at the next one. Now, quickly, what is a definition of men's health? Well, so many definitions here and there, but the one that we'll stick to and just look at briefly, we said, a healthy man, you say, is a state of a complete physical, mental, and social well-being. Now we have included more physical, mental, social, and spiritual. And some people are even advocating that we should put financial there. Yes. Now, if a man is not in a complete state of financial well-being, it could predispose to so many issues at home, altercations between husband and wife, and before you know it, the man or the woman lapse into depression. So that is why it is important that the man has something in his pocket. Then at the latter part of that definition, it says, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. Somebody might just sit down there and say, I'm okay, there's no problem with me. I don't have any headache, I don't have any pains anywhere. But that does not mean that you are healthy. That does not mean that you are healthy. By the time you have an interaction with an healthcare provider, that is when we'll be able to say that you are healthy. If by the time one of your children is throwing tantrums and you pick up the child, you beat the hell out of the child like you want to kill the child, then there is no way you will convince the healthcare provider that you are healthy. Something is wrong somewhere. Or maybe your wife just come and asks you, the rice at home has finished, and you pick annoyance, and you start talking like a baby. Then you cannot convince me that you are healthy. Right. So let's go. So like I said, men's health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not just merely absence of disease. Can we move on, please? Okay. Sorry, this is not really okay. Well, men's health includes specific diseases and conditions that are related to the men's anatomy. Okay, I'll still get there to mention some particular illnesses that are found in men by the nature of their anatomic positioning. Okay, I'll still get there because of that. Let's move on. Let's go to the next one. Now, what are the risk factors? Why is it that, well, when we talk about non-communicable diseases, when I say non-communicable, maybe like the likes of hypertension, diabetes, it is common in sub-Saharan Africa. Okay, generally we accept that, and that is part of what is responsible for our low life expectancy. Okay, but even among us as Africans, it's commoner in men. And that will answer why men die earlier than women. Now, what are these risk factors? Divided into three, essentially. You have the biological, the social, and the behavioral. Can we go? Now, biological. Sorry, some of these slides were used for purely academic purpose. So there are some terms here that I will skip, so that I will not bother us and make it too boring. Now, biologically, the man has the two chromosomes that we know, the X and the Y. Whereas women, they have X and X. So if there is a problem with the X in a woman, there is another X that can carry on. Whereas if there is a problem with the X in the man, it is only the Y that remains. So if the man inherits, how will I put it? If the man inherits problem on the Y chromosome from his own father, and at the end of the day, the X is removed. So the man is left to manifest those problems. There's nothing to counteract it. I hope you are getting that. It's not to absorb it at all. The man will definitely manifest those conditions. And that is why when you come to the clinic, the doctor will ask you, do you have any family history of this or of that? And it's quite important. And I will want to lay some emphasis on that. You know, maybe some of us will have read about genetics in the past. No, outside there, they will tell us that blood is strong. Blood is powerful. I quite agree. Now, if indeed, like they will say, you are a son of your father. So you have to resemble your father in every way possible. That is it. So if your father is having an ailment, chances that ailment will manifest in you is very high. And again, if anything you are taking away today, please, let's be attentive to that. Chances that thing will manifest in you is very high. Then you don't need to wait until when it starts manifesting before you take steps. For instance, if either of your parents or both of your parents are hypertensive, chances that you might develop hypertension later in life is very high. So we call that first degree relative. Maybe your parents or your siblings. That is to give an instance. If either of them or any of them is diabetic, chances that you might have issues with your blood sugar control later in life is very high. Then you don't need to wait until when you start having issues with your values before you wake up. Let's go on because of time. Now, sorry. Back to that slide. We are still on biological. Okay. Then let's go to the behavioral. Well, behavioral risk factors. There are so many risks that a man will take naturally. Engineer Niromala mentioned that, well, they saw a snake in the family house, and the man was telling the woman, go and kill it. The woman was saying, you are the man. Naturally, we expect the man to be valiant. It's part of risk. You know, when we go to redemption camp, in those days when we used to drive at night, we'll be coming back very late, maybe 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. Every other person in the vehicle will have slept off. But I could not sleep. I will have to open my eyes wide. Because all these people, they are surrendered. That we are surrendering unto you. I will only wake them up when we get to the front of our gates. That is part of what makes a man a man. Instead of to say, well, I'm a jekile mokato kuro, I'll say, no problem, let's go. Or every other person, you cannot sleep. That's part of the risk that we take. Yes, that's part of it. And you know, in African tradition, like I put it here, that a man does not cry. They believe that if you are under pain, you are being cheated, this and that you must endure. A man does not cry. Like I deliver a message somewhere, a talk somewhere, and I told them, well, it is high time for the man to talk. I'm not saying the man should cry, but the man should talk. Because these are the reasons why men die earlier than women. You know, then again, the behavioral. Men don't seek medical attention on time. When we want to go to the hospital as men, it's episodic. Maybe after the man will have beg and beg, but the man sees that he's about to die. That's when you agree to go to the hospital. When he goes, they give him drugs. Come back for follow-up appointment. He will not go because he's a man. He's having pains. When he's supposed to cry out, you say, buy paracetamol for me. He will not talk. Those are part of the behavioral issues with men that make them to come with complications, terminal illnesses, and at the end of the day, little or nothing could be done to salvage the situation. Can we move on? Okay, now socioeconomic risk factor. Well, I would say every one of us seated here is conversant with that. You know, if a child is having a headache in the family, everybody knew, starting from the father. You know, so you have to think of how do I pay school fees? This or that. It's our dad. It's our dad. Everything is our dad. The Lord will help our daddies in Jesus' name. I said the Lord will help our daddies in Jesus' name. Okay, yes, I mentioned that when men go to the hospital in episodic nature, then unlike their female counterparts, men have fewer interfaces with the healthcare system. How do I mean? Now, the woman, when she's pregnant, she'll go to the hospital. When she delivers, she will probably deliver in the hospital. Throughout the period of immunization, she'll be going to the hospital. Like that. She has many contacts with the healthcare facility. Whereas the man is just when he is sick. And that sickness most likely will be life-threatening. That is when the man will agree to go to the hospital. So, which is not supposed to be. Can we move on quickly? Can we move on? Now, having said all this, what is the approach that is being advocated today? Like we normally say outside here, that prevention is better than cure. It's not only better, it's cheaper than cure. You know, today we talk about periodic medical exams, periodic medical examinations. You don't need to wait until when you are sick before you go to the hospital. I keep telling people. Let me quickly give this instance. Where I work with the state government, today is Saturday. Last Thursday, about 48 hours ago, there was this young man that was brought to the hospital, I think 39 years old. Well, he was vomiting and stooling. And by the time we checked the blood pressure was 220, 160. That's stooling 220, that's stooling 120. Young man, 39 years old. And we asked him, when was the last time your blood pressure was checked? He said he could not remember. This is a classic example of what we are talking about. If not that he ate wrongly and he now started vomiting and stooling, that man will have died of strokes and his possible complications. You just heard that as he was going, he fell. And they'll say it's the spiritual forces from their village. Brethren, not to deceive ourselves, with this present economic crunch, and also with the nature Africans we run our lives, it will be a disaster when a man dies prematurely. Because the fate of that family is put on the line. That's the truth. Africans we are somewhat terrible, I'm sorry to say. Because the whole family will come and invade the home. It's whatever they can take away that they will take away. And most of the dreams of that man will die. Engineer Mala mentioned it the other time, the woman might decide to go and remarry. Even if she did not remarry, her life can never be the same again. That's the truth of the matter. So if there is anything that you can do as a man to ensure that your home is still sailing and sailing well, this is not too much of a thing to do. Okay, so quickly because of time. So we said, back to that. So we said preventive care, we can talk about primary, secondary, and tertiary prevention. Now, what is primary? Primary is essentially preventive and promotive. How do I prevent this thing from coming up? I gave an instance the other time. My parents, both of them were hypertensive. Nice. Probably they are alive or both have died. Good. Do I need to wait until when that diagnosis is made? No. So we talk about preventive medicine. What is it? You need to see an healthcare provider. What measures do I need to take so that what happened to them will not happen to me? Again, if your own state has gone beyond preventive, and of course you have the ailment already, we talk about secondary prevention, which is early diagnosis. You don't need to wait until when you come up with complications, somebody falls, slumps, before we now make a diagnosis. Early diagnosis and treatment. That is secondary prevention. Now the tertiary prevention, well, this person did not prevent the ailment from coming up. The ailment came up, did not come on time so that they'll pick it on time. No. Now complications have come in. So how do we manage the complications? That's the tertiary. And probably rehabilitate if there are permanent damages to the system. Let's move on because of time. It's okay. Now, when we look at it, men, like I said the other time, by the nature of our behavior, we are exposed to so many risks. Road traffic accidents, cardiovascular disease, kidney issues. Can we go on? Quick. Okay, let's go on to the third one again. Now, most of these ailments, like I mentioned, they are things that if you present on time, they are what we call baseline investigations that could be done. The example that I gave for that 39-year-old man, when we asked him, have you been hypertensive? The man said no, that he had never been hypertensive in his life. And I told him, it's not possible for you never to be hypertensive. And when they're taking your blood pressure, you have it to 2160. Now the Yoruba man has made life so easy. That is what the doctor will see. And the doctor will say, this is a chronic illness. In other words, it has been on for a relatively long time. So I asked my doctors, what can we see with this man that will enable us to convince him that this thing has been on? And by the time we started checking, right from the artery and the radial pulse, there are some things that we see. You may not understand, but let me bother you. At the end of the day, the man agreed because those telltale signs were there that he had been having this thing for a very long time, but he never bothered. Well, we may look at it that, well, the cost of seeing the doctor today is so much, but my people, the cost of managing the ailment is far, far more. Let's move on. Where are we now? Okay, let's go on secondary like that. Well, maybe some of us may be, because I still have some areas that I want to really lay emphasis on. Can we go on from here? Let's go on the next one. Okay, restart the education. Let's go on. Well, there are some things about cigarette smoke and the alcohol consumption. I want to believe that, well, there's nobody here that is smoking cigarettes. Let me just believe that. Then there's nobody here that is consuming alcohol. So if you are doing that from the crown of your head to the sole of your feet, there are so many disease conditions that are attached to that, which can cut short the life of a man. What I can see looking grossly here are middle-aged men. I hope I am right. Medically speaking, when we say middle age, people from 40 to 60 is middle age. 60 and above is elderly. Now below 40 is young. So I can see middle-aged men here. So if that be anybody that is taking alcohol or taking cigarettes, that person is really causing arms. Then again, we talk about substance abuse. Now, how does it start? Today, for those of us, I see around the Lewero axis. So how many minutes more? 5 minutes more. 7 minutes more. Amen. Now I see around the Lewero axis. Along that road from Ashero to Ushiele, you see all these people that are mentally challenged. And their number is increasing by day. In fact, I can say I'm familiar with like 7 or 8 of them. These are young people. How do they start? Ordinarily, some of them will start by abusing sedatives. When I say sedatives, drugs like diazepam, like Lexotan, they start by abusing this one. That one will not work. Gradually, they go into excessive alcohol intake. Okay, that one will not work. Then they now go into all these other marijuana, cocaine, and the likes. And eventually, if there is no money to continue, or they develop complications, they break down. You see them on the road. They want to do PSA. PSA is prostate-specific antigen. Now, we are trying to discourage that because the absolute value that you are getting from PSA might not particularly be indicative of your chances of having prostate cancer. So, Rosan was telling me that they have not checked blood pressure here today. I've done that in the morning. Because until when your blood pressure is checked, nobody can say that I don't have hypertension. They said sin is believing. Let's put it there. Let's look at the reading. I still had a patient in my clinic this morning. She came in, blood pressure was high. Okay, madam, maybe because you're just rushing, sit down for some time. They have gone through the secondary. They are now in the tertiary because they will never present on time. It does not cost you anything. Then again, there are so many misconceptions, so many myths about taking your drugs, that you don't have to take your drugs every day, you don't have to do this, you don't have to do that. Anybody that is telling you that is not helping you. It's not helping you. If you are on medications, please take your drugs. Then we talk about lifestyle modification. Fine, Buhari is really helping us to modify our lifestyle. But the aspect that we need to mention now is the aspect of exercise. One of my patients is a professor who was at the clinic about 3 days ago. And Prof obviously had lost close to 20 kilograms in his weight. And that's the first thing he called my attention to. That, doctor, you are not asking how I'm coping. I said, you are coping well, I can see you are fine. He said, I have lost close to 20 kg in my weight from January till now. How did you do it? Prof said, he goes about brisk walking. That is all. He said he ensures that he makes nothing less than 12,000 steps in a day. If you come to my clinic, I'll tell you to make 2,000. Prof said he's making 12,000 steps in a day, that regardless of where he is. Brethren, the man is the engine of the family. That engine has to be kept running. And like I said when I started, it has to be running positively for the progress of the home. Please, whatever you can do to ensure, it is God that has the final say. How long a man will live and everything. When it says a man is going, he's going. The Bible says it has appointed that all men wants to die, day after judgment. But your own part, your own role, please play it and play it well. And God will help us. So permit me to stop at this junction because of the pressure of time. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. God bless you, sir. Doctor, you left something out